Let's talk Browns. Now, before we get into the Browns game, let's go over some of the picks that I had this Sunday morning. All right, I didn't pick the Lions Chiefs because I missed that game, but I did pick the Ravens over the Chargers. I did pick the Cardinals over the Browns. I did pick the Vikings over the Bears. I did pick the Bengals over the Steelers. I picked the Texans over the Titans. I picked the Saints over the Giants, and what a game that was. I picked the Rams over the Niners. Let's see. I picked the Falcons over the Bucks, so that's a loss. I picked the Jets over the Raiders. That's a loss because the Raiders are quite surprising, and I don't know what's going on with the Falcons. I picked Cowboys over Seahawks, and they almost won that game. They blocked the field goal, but they couldn't do anything with the ball after that, nor could they do anything with a minute 10 on the clock. So you win some, lose some. I picked the Packers over the Broncos simply based on quarterback play, and, well, Aaron Rodgers, 77 yards passing. Are you kidding me? So who would have thought that was going to happen? And then lastly, I picked Panthers over Colts, which doesn't start for another 30 seconds. So, anyway, the big news is the 49ers traded Vernon Davis for what, a 5th round draft pick? Really? To the Broncos? That kid's a 1st round pick. Oh my gosh. What is going on with the Niners? And that's my other favorite team. Oh my goodness. Ever since Harbaugh left, that team has just went into the toilet. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to touch that. But, oh my goodness, the grit of the Bengals. When they beat the Seahawks, I pretty much called it. I said, you know what? That's a Super Bowl contender now. They're not going to be one and done in the playoffs this year. Just by the grit. I mean, you're down 24-10 against a Super Bowl 2-time Super Bowl contender, 1-time Super Bowl champion. All right? 1 pass away. 2 yards away from being a 2-time Super Bowl champion. So, to come back, and I know they are having their struggles, but they're still the Seahawks. You still don't count them out. All right? So, I mean, as long as they got Russell Wilson in that defense, you don't count them out. But they came back 24-10 and beat them in overtime. That, at home, that takes hellacious effort. So, and then with the hellacious effort that they showed against the Steelers, that let me know right then and there that the Bengals are for real. Now, oh my goodness. Cardinals, Browns. Let's talk about that. It's just amazing how the Browns at 20-7. Everybody is, well, not everybody, but you have a lot of people pinning the collapse of the team linked to the miss of the extra point. All right, where it would have been 21-7, but instead it was 20-7. It was like, oh, you can feel the air being let out of the stadium and blase, boo-hoo. And my take on that is if you let an extra point, a missed extra point, where you're up by 17 points right before the half, if you let that kill your momentum and totally change the psychology of your team, you don't deserve to win. You're garbage. You have a garbage mindset. You really do. A missed extra point with a 17-point lead going into the half, and then you give up the field goal. Okay, cool. You gave up the field. You gave up the field goal. Oh man, I said a 17-point lead. I'm sorry. 13-point lead. And that's crazy. You have a 13-point lead going into the half. I apologize for that. You have a 13-point lead going into the half, and then you lose it. Where you lose the 13-point lead, now you're down where you're up 20-10. You give up the field goal. And then the team comes out in the second half and puts up 24 unanswered points on you. Really 27 if you count the field goal. But if you just want to deal with it after the second half, you're talking about 24 unanswered points. And the problem with that is because you didn't protect the lead. You're not running the football. You signed Robert Turbin, and you pretty much because he mishandled, all right, a handoff, suddenly he disappeared from the offense. Duke Johnson, who was lighting them up in the first half, suddenly disappears from the offense. You're supposed to start killing clock. The third quarter should have been all about killing the clock, okay, and playing a bend but don't break defense. Instead, you have who I think should have been traded and should still be traded going into the off season, because you can't trade him now because he has a concussion. Joe Hayden getting burned for long touchdowns. Okay, dude just flat out smoked him. That's ridiculous. It didn't even look like he tried to contest the play. The guy just smoked him down the sideline. That was bad. Really? Totally out of position. And I mean, I have to say, this is the type of production that you're going to get, all right? This is the type of production you're going to get from a so-called Pro Bowl cornerback, where Floyd is just, it's almost like he's being covered by a rookie. Dude, what's the point? What's the point in having them out there? You might as well have a freaking second-year quarterback out there. I said Pierre Desir has been holding his own. Why not see what he can do? He's been improving as the weeks go along. The more playing time he gets, the better that he gets. So you might as well go ahead and play him. You might as well go ahead and play him. You might as well go ahead and cut Gibson, because he's not doing anything for you. What's the point? Do understand? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out, but it doesn't seem like it's clicking. I can't figure out exactly why the Browns are holding on to players who are underproducing or can't produce. Prime example, Dwayne Bowe. He's got the money. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you play him late in the fourth quarter, all right, or whether you don't play him at all. It doesn't, or whether you start him, which you're not going to do. So what does it matter? What does it matter? Go ahead and cut him. Be done with it. Open the roster spot up for somebody else. I've been said that you should have traded Alex Mack. Once he signed that contract, you say, hey, you know what? I can walk after the second year, and the second year came, and the team appeared to not be doing any better, where you couldn't run the football and you can't pass protect because, like morons, you fired the offensive line coach right before the season started, and his assistant isn't any good, and you fired Andy Moeller. You got George DeLeon, however you pronounce it. You've got him coaching the offensive line, and obviously he is not up to the task. Josh McCown came here to Cleveland because he was like, hey, you know what? They've got a good offensive line. They can pass protect. And now look at him. He's getting killed. 2 weeks in a row, he's gotten murdered just by standing in the pocket. The Jets game, he ran out of the pocket, tried to dive in the end zone. That's not the offensive line's fault. But the past 2 weeks have been the offensive line's fault. Okay, even the Denver game, that was the offensive line's fault, as well as the defense. Because, as I said, the linebackers are too light in the butt and too slow. Talking about Kruger and Mingo. Goodness gracious. Who they're talking about, where everybody's saying, well, you should start Mingo at safety. Yeah, you put a linebacker in at safety. I mean, you can give it a shot, but I doubt you'll have great results. Anyway, Arizona took the Cleveland Browns lightly. They had a few turnovers. They went into halftime and said, what the heck are we doing? We're losing to this scrub team. Let's just go out here and just light them up and play like we're supposed to play. And that's exactly what they did. They went out there and they just smoked the Browns. They ate them alive. And I was sitting up here because I watched the game on mute, but I also watched the NFL Red Zone, which is much more easier for me to stomach. because I'm not completely vested and pouring my heart out into a team that's going to rip it out. So I'm watching the NFL Red Zone, and I'm watching this game, and I'm watching the Cardinals just suddenly enforce their will on the Cleveland Browns. Please tell me who thinks that it's a good idea to throw a fade route into the end zone to a wide receiver that's 5'8", that's covered by tight covered man-to-man coverage on the cornerback that's half a person taller than him, with a safety also bearing down on him. What type of spectacular play was supposed to be made from that throw? Exactly. That's why I got picked off. Whew. So, the Browns didn't give up 150 yards rushing this time, but they did give up 100 yards rushing to Chris Johnson, 30 carries, 109 yards, just in the game overall. But Carson Palmer passed for 374 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, Michael Floyd, 4 for 106. Fitzgerald, 9 for 84. Both caught touchdowns. I guess the bright spot out of it is that Josh McCown again passed for 3 touchdowns. 18 for 34, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. Gary Barnidge, one of the bright spots, 7 for 53 and a touchdown. And Duke Johnson, 2 catches, 68. No touchdowns, but he averaged 34 yards a catch, and then he disappeared from the offense. I guess I don't know, did he curse somebody out in the locker room or something? Did he spaz out? I don't understand why he suddenly disappeared from the offense. I just really can't call it. I really can't call it. I'm going to say this again, and maybe somebody out there actually understands what the heck I'm talking about. But when you look at that whole Buddy Ryan defensive system, only 3 teams run it. I mean, literally, only 3 teams run it. Okay? And that would be the Buffalo Bills, the St. Louis, the New Orleans Saints, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, what just happened the last time these 3 teams played? Especially concerning the New Orleans Saints. Did they not just give up damn near, 50 points to the New York Giants, who had kind of been struggling on offense? They gave up 49 points to the New York Giants. I'm seeing the highlights from that game through NFL Red Zone, and it was like they were playing with scrub secondary players. Like their whole defense just seemed to be a defense full of backups. And how many times am I going to see Sean Payton getting up in Rob Ryan's face, telling him, hey, look, you need to do something. Can you stop these guys? Can you slow them down? Can you get a turnover? Can you get a sack? Can you force them off the field on 3rd down? I mean, anything. We've seen that at least 3 times with him getting in Rob Ryan's face in the middle of the game. Trying to get him, just pleading with him like, hey, you told me this defensive scheme was worth something. If it's worth something, then why are your other teams marching up and down the field on us? We're getting killed out here. Because the scheme doesn't work. Buffalo lost to Jacksonville, for Christ's sakes. Are you kidding me? The scheme doesn't work. The scheme does not work. Look at the Browns. They're giving up 150 yards on the ground on average to one, not as a team rushing, but one player. The scheme does not work. It's garbage. Ever since Bill Walsh picked it apart in the 80s. Ever since 84? 85, 86, whatever. It doesn't work. It's a garbage scheme. Sure, it might get you a few turnovers because of the pressure, but as far as actually winning a championship, there's a reason the Bears only won 1 Super Bowl with it. All right, and they did not play the 49ers they did not play the 49ers in the playoffs. Goodness gracious, or else they wouldn't have made it. They haven't beaten the Niners with that defense in like never. Get out of here. If you know what, if you have a smart offensive coordinator, you can pick it apart. And there's so much tape on it that it's just ridiculous. It is a garbage defense. Scrap it. Your defensive coordinator, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to make in-game adjustments. Neither does the head coach. The offensive coordinator, I can give John Filippo, I can give him some credit. At least he does try to make some adjustments. At least he's trying. First year offensive coordinator, I can give that to him. But hey, you gotta run the football. But I understand your offensive line isn't conditioned to play power football. They're conditioned for pass blocking, and they're not even good at that because the schemes that they're calling are stupid. The pass protection schemes they're calling are stupid. And I don't care if you got 3, 4, 5 Pro Bowlers on that offensive line. If the scheme is dumb and can be easily dissected on tape, your quarterback's dead meat. Now everybody has a theory as to why Johnny Manziel didn't get put into the game yesterday, and they're saying because he doesn't trust Johnny, the head coach. And I'm like, well, think about it. Johnny almost got suspended and went to jail for assaulting his girlfriend. I don't know if you saw the tape of the police dash cam. I did. Where she was like, why would he do that? He hit me over and over again. The cop was like, who hit you? And she was like, I don't know. I'm like, you were only in the car with one person. So who the hell are you talking about? I get that. She didn't want to press charges. She didn't want to get him in trouble, even though she pretty much implicated him in abuse. Okay? And the NFL gave him a pass because of it. Whatever. We're not going to talk about that. How you so on Ray Rice, so on Greg Hardy, so on Ray McDonald, so on Adrian Peterson. But you get Johnny Manziel the pass, the wink and the nod, nudge, nudge. And Mike Patton was like, you know what? I don't care what the NFL didn't do. They don't want to punish you. I can't get Ray Farmer to punish you, so screw it. You know what? I would rather have Josh McCown out there with one arm and one leg and bleeding from the ears than have you in this game. And man, it was my mistake of not having Austin Davis active. Because I really believe that if Austin Davis was active, he would have played. I mean, come on. You were running the freaking wishbone. The Wildcat, excuse me. You're running the Wildcat out there. Are you kidding me? It's become a joke. You're 2-6. You don't want to play Johnny Fine. Get Austin Davis ready. Get him ready because you're not going to play Josh McCown Thursday. If you play Josh McCown Thursday, it's because you really don't love him. You don't care about him, or you're that desperate that you seriously think that I get it. He does appear to be the Browns' best chance to win at quarterback. He's averaging, 3 touchdowns a game. If the offensive line actually blocked for him, the games would be a whole lot more competitive. You might actually have won a few of them. You wouldn't have such a horribly bad 2-6 record. Right? You might actually be 4-3, 3-4. But the problem is the offensive line is bad. You don't like Johnny. You can't trust him. Right? And Austin Davis isn't ready. And your running game is crap because your offensive line is crap. And your defense can't stop anybody because the scheme is crap. And not only is the scheme crap, some of the players are crap. So, you're dead in the water. You're dead in the water. You're going to have to start the young guys. It's over. It's over. And if you get fired this year, Mike Patton, hey, you know what? You'll always get a job as a defensive coordinator running that crappy Bears 46 scheme. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Hopefully next week, this Thursday, the Bengals won't embarrass the Browns too bad. But I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Because the Bengals are just they're looking like Super Bowl contenders. They really are. They really are. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that. I really wouldn't. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me go ahead. I'm gonna make my week 9 picks since it's early, and I won't do another show till next Monday night. Let's see here. We pull up the schedule. All right, here we go. Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati Bengals. I am picking the Bengals, of course, and it looks like the line is Cincinnati by 10. Yeah, I would definitely go with that. Green Bay Packers at Carolina Panthers. Man, the Green Bay Packers look bad, but I think they're going to rebound. The line is Green Bay -3. I'm going to take that. Let's see. Okay, Washington Redskins at New England Patriots. They say the Patriots by 13. Yeah, I would definitely take that. Tennessee Titans at New Orleans Saints. Saints by 8.5 points. I would take that too, especially playing down in that dome. You never know when Drew Brees is going to get hot with his 7 touchdown passes. I mean, he only threw 7 touchdown passes against the Giants. Miami Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. Let's see, Buffalo by 3. Wow. You know, I think the Dolphins were just overmatched by New England, but I think they're actually going to give Buffalo a little run for their money because they're also a team in transition at quarterback. I would take the Dolphins. All right, St. Louis Rams at Minnesota Vikings. Let's see. The line is Minnesota by 2.5. I would take the Rams simply based on their defense. Let's see. Jacksonville at New York Jets. There's no line available because they're having problems at quarterback. Fitzpatrick, it's an injury to his non-throwing hand thumb. Jaguars seem to be surprising. I'm going to go with the Jets. I don't think their coach is going to let their defense be embarrassed like that again. So I'm taking the Jets. And I would actually take the Jets by 3. Oakland at Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh by 6 points. Are you serious? I'm taking the Raiders. No running game for Pittsburgh. Get the hell out of it. Man, I'm taking the Raiders. This is the surprising Raiders who embarrassed the Jets. Goodness gracious. New York Giants at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Giants by 1. Wow. You know what? That is a coin flip. The Tampa Bay is feeling themselves. Giants by 1. Giants gave up 7 touchdown passes. And then they got to go to Tampa Bay? Oh, my goodness. Woo. But you have Eli Manning at quarterback. So, oh, my goodness. I'm going to go with the quarterbacks here. So, I'm going to go Giants. I'm going to take the Giants by 1. Atlanta Falcons at San Francisco 49ers. Atlanta by 3. I'm taking the Falcons. They just traded Vernon Davis. Get the heck out of here. Kaepernick's regressing. Their defense is garbage. Get the heck out of here. Denver Broncos and Indianapolis Colts. Denver by 3. I'm taking Denver. The Indianapolis Colts offensive line is worse than the Browns, as is their defense. Philadelphia Eagles at Dallas Cowboys. Dallas by 2.5. Not with the way they're playing. I would, based on the line, I would take the Eagles. Based on the line. Chicago Bears at San Diego Chargers. Chargers are all beat up. The Bears don't have Matt Forte, but they do have Jay Cutler, and they also have Alshon Jeffries. Chargers have lost more players than freaking all teams combined. I'm taking the Bears. There's no line on that. So, alright, those are my picks. I will see you guys Monday night. You all take care. Ciao.